All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to City Hall for tonight's City Council meeting. If you're here for that City Council meeting, you are at the right place. Before we get to that agenda, however, we do have 3 public hearings. Now, these public hearings are all also items on the agenda this evening, and so you'll have the opportunity to either speak now or to wait till it gets to the agenda item. But the public hearing is here for a purpose, in order to make sure that the public has the opportunity to be heard. Beginning with number 1, public hearing on ordinance number 4486, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 4400, the zoning ordinance for the city of Columbia, by rezoning tax map 89E, group F, parcels 1.01 and 1.02, located off Morningside Lane from neighborhood large character district to neighborhood character district. This is Ward 3. Anyone here this evening wish to be heard on public hearing number 1? Seeing none, anyone on council wish to be heard on public hearing number 1? Hearing none, entertain a motion to close public hearing number 1. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
Aye. Public hearing number 1 is now closed. Next item 2, public hearing on ordinance 4492, an ordinance amending ordinance 4400, the same being the zoning ordinance of the city of Columbia regarding references to Connect Columbia, the comprehensive plan in Articles 3 and 4, and definitions in Article 9, rezoning processes and criteria in Article 8, and including scrivener's errors throughout the same. This is public hearing number 2. Anyone in the audience this evening wish to be heard on public hearing number 2? Hearing none. Anyone on council wish to be heard on public hearing number 2? Seeing none, entertain a motion to close public hearing number 2. Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
Aye. Public hearing number 2 is now closed. Final public hearing 3. Public hearing on ordinance 4493, an ordinance amending Title 18, Chapter 1, Section 18103.2 of the Columbia Municipal Code by deleting such section in its entirety and substituting a new section 18103.2 with reference to sewer service charge. Anyone in the audience wish to be heard at this time on public hearing number 3? All right, sir. You wish to be heard at this time or on the agenda item?
Sir.
Do you want to be heard at the public hearing? Yeah. All right. You'll have 3 minutes. If you'll introduce
Okay,
yourself.
my name is C.L. Sullivan. I live at 1652 Wellington Drive, Columbia. And I rise to oppose the 30% plus increase in sewer fees. This is a 30-year debt to pay for, not just for the current residents. This debt is going to go to our children also. Why are we having the citizens of Columbia having to have this added cost transferred to us? The city leaders have at their disposal all the impact fees to pay this crazy growth policy you've taken on. The city leaders are falling for the short-time bucks and leaving the long-term costs to the citizens. This is just the first big item city government has dumped on the citizens to pay for the unplanned growth. I'm asking you why you cannot create the impact fees to the very people that are creating this mess, the out-of-state companies that keep buying up the property, driving all the costs for local residents, and the city leaders are falling for the short-time dollar. This is the easy one, but what are you going to do when Columbia runs out of water? How are you going to fix that one? You can't put it on the public at that point. You can't create more water in the precious Duck River. Did I mention more electricity? Remember last summer with rotating power outages? You can raise the rates for the citizens, but is it fair? the 100,000 you're spending on for the new census, the almost 100,000 you're spending for the art district would be used for the water treatment plant. How about those high density apartment dwellers that are not paying their fair share? It's all fall on the people that own the homes and are paying their water bills. So I hope you guys start thinking about this in the future. And I know this is just the first one, about $14 more on our sewer bill for all the citizens of the city, plus outer areas of the city that have Columbia water. So hope you think about it.
All right. Anyone else wish to be heard on public hearing number 3 in the audience? Seeing none, anyone on council wish to be heard on public hearing number 3? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to close public hearing number 3. Been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
Aye. Public hearing number 3 is now closed. Okay, now I will call to order tonight's regular meeting for the Columbia City Council meeting. To all those of you in the audience tonight, we say welcome. We're glad you're here. If you're watching on our live YouTube stream, we're also glad that you've joined in. There's a lot of important business that we have to take care of tonight, and so we're really excited for a productive and positive meeting. At this time, Mr. Jablonski, if you would please call the roll.
Mr. Coleman.
Here.
Mr. Green. Here. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Here.
Mrs. Wiles. Here. Vice Mayor McBroom. Here. Mayor Mulder.
Here, let the record reflect all members of council are present. Now I'd like to call on Jeff Wilkins of Zion Presbyterian Church to lead our invocation. And as he's walking forward, if you would please stand as you are able for the invocation, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Councilmember Kenny Marshall. Mr. Wilkins.
Please pray with me. Loving Father, gracious Savior, sweet Spirit, we thank you that you are here, that there's nowhere where we can go where you are not. We praise you that while we deliberate and debate, even disagree at times, while we make our plans, you sit on your throne, sovereignly ruling over all of creation, the details of our lives. I pray, Father, that you would bless this gathering tonight. I pray for the peace and the prosperity of Columbia. Lord, for these council members, thank you for each of them, that they would be willing to give of their time to serve the citizens of this town. Lord, I pray that you would grant each of them humble hearts, that you would give them wisdom beyond their own ability, and that above all, that they would engage with one another and engage with the people of this community in charity. Lord, would you give them ears to hear, to listen, that they might live up to and live into their calling as civil servants. Lord, I thank you for your goodness and your grace, and I offer this prayer to you, thankful that you, Jesus, sit on the throne, ruling and reigning over heaven and earth, that you will return to judge the living and the dead at the consummation of your kingdom, the wedding supper of your Lamb. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Mr. Wilkins. All right, we'll now move to section 4, approval of agenda. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
Aye, the agenda is approved. Next item, 5 presentations, and we do have 5.1, which I'm going to call up in just a second. Before I do that, since we have more people here maybe on the front end or more tuning in on the front end, I'll go off agenda for a second to say a special thank you to everyone who was involved with the successful Mule Day this past weekend. I mean, it really touches all of our city departments. Public Works, CPD, Columbia Fire and Rescue, Tourism Marketing Department, everybody, every department, even those I didn't name, all have a part of that in somehow, shape, or form. And it's amazing to me always how the city just goes back to where it was the day before when it's over and it's cleaned up already. And a lot of the work that's going on while we're sleeping or doing other things. I just wanted to give a special thank you to all of those at the city who were involved in that, and all of our other partners too in the county and even state partners, while we still had a larger audience at the beginning tonight. So with that, I'll now transition to 5.1, presentation of proclamations for Columbia Academy Boys Cross Country Team and Coaches. And I believe that we have some of the team here that are going to come forward. We'll ask them to come forward. Also, I'd ask City Council to please join me down in the well, and we'll make the presentation. I was worried. I didn't know where y'all were. All right, fellas, why don't y'all come over in here, and we'll so everybody can see you. You know, we I don't know, Columbia Academy feel like they're at home as much as they're in this building to be recognized for achievement, both in the classroom and out of the classroom. Teams represented here over the years. We just say thank you for representing the city of Columbia. Uniform or go across the state to compete in matches, you're wearing the name Columbia Academy. Part telling you're representing school, but you're also representing really a performance on the track and off. I have a bunch of proclamations. Don't worry, I'm not going to read all of them. But I do think it's important to point out some of their achievements. Their families are here this evening as well, and this is really the best part of the job for me and for all members to be able to recognize achievement of those in our community, particularly when. So, if you bear with this, I do want to read. I think what I'll do is probably read a sample of each. I'm going to do the coaches first. The 2023-24 Columbia Academy Boys High School Cross Country, coached by Coach of the Year, head coach Brady Henson. And when I say Coach of the Year, I'm not just saying that as like, yeah, he's like Coach of the Year. He's actually a recognized state of Tennessee Coach of the Year. I can say I knew him when. But how cool is that? I think that's something that what I love about Brady Henson is, of course, his heart told to see that. See him struggling down West 7th Street trying to keep up with some of the teams. And I'll always ask him when I see him if he wants a ride. And he never takes me up on it because he knows his teammates on his team are looking to him for his leadership. Assistant coaches Ashley Miller and Nathan Miller, they should be recognized and commended for their outstanding season. 23 Columbia Academy Boys Cross Country Team won its first ever state title under the guidance and leadership of these coaches. The CA Boys Cross Country Team won this championship by a 45-point margin of victory with a combined time of 17 minutes, 2 seconds, which is the fastest combined time in Division II-A state championship history. The Columbia Academy Boys Cross Country Team and coaches have shown professionalism, commitment, sportsmanship, determination, and dedication that has brought positive recognition not only to themselves, but to the entire student body of Columbia Academy and the City of Columbia. The City of Columbia wishes to thank and recognize the entire cross-country coaches, support staff, including Columbia Academy President Dr. James Thomas, Athletic Director Pernell Knox, thank him as well for their outstanding 2023 cross-country season. Therefore, I, Chad Mulder, Mayor of the City of Columbia, do hereby approach Thursday, April 11, 2024, as Columbia Academy Boys Cross Country Day. All right. And so we have that, and that really gives a good overview of their accomplishments and all that they've performed. We also have for the individual players that gives an overview of their names and other accomplishments. I'll read through those. So this happens to be Nicholas McMurdy's. Here. There he is. Okay, you can see him. Here he is. So this is yours. So we're going to pick on you. I promise. All of y'all sound a lot like this. Nicholas McMurdy was a member of the 23 Columbia Academy Boys Cross Country, which won its first ever state title under the guidance and leadership of their coaches, Henson and Miller. The Bulldog team won the championship, as mentioned, by a 45-point margin of victory. Runners competing in the state championship are Ty Witherow, Gabriel Caru. Okay, all right, close. Josh Lofton, CJ Barr, Luke Tatum, Jaden Brooks, and Hudson Cofer. Other team members that contributed to the success of the 23 boys cross country team were Caleb Oakley, Luke Phillip, Thomas Gaines, Hayes Lewis, Luke Cox, Jay Winchester, and David Hunt. And presumably also Nick Murray. The City of Columbia wishes to thank and recognize each member of this team individually and collectively have excelled academically and athletically year 23. Therefore, I, Mayor Chad Muller of the City of Columbia, do hereby personally honor each one of you, own personal honor of your own day in Columbia, Tennessee, as it being your day, Columbia Beach Day. I hate to put y'all on the spot, but one of y'all maybe. Can you just give us a little overview of your season and just about a couple comments? When y'all wants to step up and play, exercise quick leadership. They're all picking on you. How about you right here? I mean, you getting voluntold to do that.
Well, it was really great. I ran, all great in the
Good. See now. You get to be the one that spoke. That's right. None of them did. So, again, thank y'all for indulging us on this. We love to recognize success of our youth. I think that shows outlook, and we want to promote these young every chance. And so, it's important to have you out do that. Thomas, your leadership academy, but also pours out and the parents and families that are here tonight. So with that, congratulations. Y'all go win another state title, and we're going to have new trophy cases. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate you all doing
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
All right, we are back on the agenda now. Section 6, organizational business. 6.1, approve the minutes of the March 7, 2024 special called city council meeting. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Muller.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 6.2, approve the minutes of the March 14th, 2024 regular city council meeting. It's been moved, properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green.
Aye.
Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Muller.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 6.3, approve the retirement benefits for Katina Hardiman, Administrative Assistant, Parks and Recreation Department.
Move to approve.
Moved, properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
That item is approved. Next item, 6.4, approve the mayor's appointment of Nancy Williams to the City of Columbia Planning Commission to fill an unexpired term ending on December 6, 2024. I'll make that motion to approve. Properly seconded. Just for a quick discussion, I know I mentioned this last week, but I want to once again say it tonight that I really appreciate Ray Pace's service on the Planning Commission. Ray Pace has been on the Planning Commission for Vice Mayor 12 years. And if you follow anything, you know that the Planning Commission requires a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of commitment. And Ray Pace was one that I would say Paul Keltner went sort of above and beyond. He conducted his own site visits and would do things that would sort of make us feel like maybe we needed to be a little more like Ray Pace when it came to his due diligence. And so I know that all of us are very grateful for his service on the Planning Commission and to the community that he's provided. And I think we should also be equally as excited that Nancy Williams has agreed to serve, as I think should be a great addition to the Planning Commission. So that's 6.4. Any other discussion on 6.4? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, Section 7, consent agenda. These are items that are deemed non-controversial, requiring no additional outside discussion or debate. So I will read on them collectively, and then we will vote on them in that manner. So beginning with item 7.1, approve disbursements for the month of February 2024 in the amount of $5,428,786.63. Item 7.2, approve and authorize the disposal of surplus equipment. Item 7.3, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a contract between the City of Columbia and Journal Communications in the amount of $6,535 for advertising in the 24-25 Murray County Livability Magazine. Item 7.4, approve and authorize the mayor to sign an interlocal agreement between the City of Columbia and Murray Emergency Communications District for police dispatching services. Item 7.5, approve and authorize the mayor to sign the non-exclusive use and occupancy permit between the City of Columbia and Smyrna Adult Softball League, formerly known as Murray County Co-ed Softball League. Item 7.6, approve and authorize the mayor to execute a contract with Nickel Company for the CDBG sidewalk improvements in the amount of $763,314.70, wards 2 and 3. And item 7.7, approve the sole source procurement of MSA G1 Protection Systems breathing air equipment in the amount of $698,677.80 to Safe Industries. That's your consent agenda items 7.1 through 7.7.
Move to approve.
Been moved by Councilmember Coleman, properly seconded by Councilmember Green. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
Aye, the consent agenda is approved. Next item, Section 8, Administration. 8.1, Certificate of Compliance for Nilesh Patel to sell alcoholic beverages located at a proposed store named Arden Village Wine and Spirits located at 2479 Nashville Highway.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next, Section 9, Resolutions. 9.1, Resolution 2417 to ratify the application of the fiscal year 24 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Award not to exceed $32,308 and authorize the mayor to execute documents related to accepting and administering the grant. Move to properly second. Any discussion on 9.1? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.2, Resolution 2418 to ratify the City of Columbia's application for the 25 Tennessee Highway Safety Grant in the amount of $28,500. Accept the grant award not to exceed $28,500 and authorize the mayor to execute documents related to accepting and administering the grant project.
Move to approve.
Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on item 9.2? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman.
Aye.
Mr. Green. Ms. Hardison. Mr. Marshall. Mrs. Wiles. Vice Mayor McBroom. Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.3, Resolution 2419 to establish the maximum amount of $75 for the 24 City of Columbia property tax relief for the elderly low-income homeowners. Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on 9.3? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.4, a resolution authorizing both the Daily Herald and Main Street Murray as the official local newspapers for the City of Columbia. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.5, a resolution 2421 to accept the ownership and maintenance of sewer improvements serving Summit at Carter Station East Phase 2. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on 9.5? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.6, resolution 2422, resolution to accept the ownership and maintenance of sewer improvements serving Summit at Carter Station East Phase 3. Been moved and properly seconded. Thank you. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.7, resolution 2423, tax corrections.
Move to approve.
It's been moved, properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Mrs. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye. 9.7 is approved. 9.8, resolution 2424 to accept the ownership and maintenance of sewer improvements serving Independence at Carter Station, Phase 3.4. Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.9, resolution 2425 to accept the ownership and maintenance of sewer improvements serving Independence at Carter Station, Phase 3.5. Moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.10, resolution 2426 to accept the ownership and maintenance of sewer improvements serving Independence at Carter Station, Phase 6.4. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.11, resolution 2427 to accept the ownership and maintenance of sewer improvements serving Homestead South Fry Road.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 9.12, resolution 2428, a resolution to ratify the City of Columbia's application for the 25 Tennessee Highway Safety Office grant, accept the award, and authorize the mayor to execute documents related to accepting and administering the grant project. It's been moved, properly seconded. Any discussion on item 912? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next, section 10, ordinances. 10.1, second consideration, ordinance 4486 to amend ordinance 4400, the zoning ordinance of the City of Columbia by rezoning tax map 89E, Group F, parcels 1.01 and 1.02, located off Morningside Lane, from neighborhood large lot character district to neighborhood character district. This is Ward 3. Been moved, properly seconded. Item 10.1, any discussion on that item? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 10.2, second consideration of ordinance 4492 and ordinance amending ordinance 4400, the zoning ordinance for the city of Columbia regarding references to Connect Columbia, the comprehensive plan in Articles 3 and 4, definitions in Article 9, rezoning processes and criteria in Article 8, and correcting scrivener's errors throughout the ordinance.
Move to approve.
Been moved and properly seconded. Did you have anything on that, Mr. Mason?
No, sir.
Okay, any discussion on that item? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 10.3, second consideration an ordinance amending Title 18, Chapter 1, Section 18103(2) of the Columbia Municipal Code by deleting such section in its entirety and substituting a new section 18103(2) with reference to sewer service charge.
Move to approve.
Been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 10.4, first consideration ordinance 4499 to amend ordinance 4400, the same being the zoning ordinance of the city of Columbia, by rezoning tax map 100E Group F parcels 25 through 25.03 located off West 12th and Haley Streets from CD3 to CD4 General Urban Character District and established May 9, 2024 as the date of public hearing. This is Ward 2.
Move to approve.
Been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye, that item is approved. Next item, 10.5, first consideration of ordinance 4500, an ordinance for the abandonment of city property being a .036 acre lot located on North Hardin Drive and authorizing the mayor to execute that plat and quit claim deed.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion on that item? Hearing none, Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
That item is approved. We are now to section 11, other business. Any member of council wish to be heard? I would just say one thing. First of all, meetings are not always this expedient and efficient. So when they are, I like to point them out. Some of you were with us last night at the Planning Commission meeting, which was not near as expedient. And so I do appreciate the fact that the way that we have this design of having a study session the week prior and having the ability to talk through some of these issues at the study session non-voting meeting does allow for some efficiency on as many of these items have already been discussed thoroughly prior meetings and even beyond. I also want to again reiterate a thanks to all of our city departments for their good work, not just on Mule Day, but on all days. I always want to make sure that all the departments know that they are appreciated for their work, even if they weren't necessarily involved as intimately as others on the Mule Day festivities. But it was a really good event. We had a nice reception at Best Hall at CA. A lot of attendance at that event that really brought the community together in ways that I think that we want to be real proud to see folks come together like that and bringing unity to the community is important. And you see that probably as clear as ever on Mule Day with the amount of just positivity that abounds throughout the community. So any other member of council wish to be heard this evening?
I'd like to. I just want to echo what you said. Mule Day is absolutely one of our favorite days of the year. And this one was remarkable. Weather cooperated, crowds cooperated, but the city departments are absolutely amazing. The congeniality the kindness, the courteousness with which they operate. And when your 4-year-old grandson lives for the end of the parade to see the trucks coming up behind it and having it cleaned out by the time we get home on West 6th Street, that's the highlight of their trip. Thank you. It is amazing.
I'm not sure if that's how we want to be known or not, but it could be worse, I suppose. And then also, I should also point out today was a very exciting day downtown Columbia as the groundbreaking occurred. Many of you were there, and really just the transformation that project is going to create. I think that when we look back 10 years from now, we're going to look to that project as being a tipping point for some real good periods of time for vibrancy and growth on the east side of the courthouse that we've been working on as an area as this council prior to my involvement, prior to most of our involvements. Timmy Green, you've been around for a while, so you've been working hard. And so it's good to see the fruits of that labor come, because that was not just this council's labor. That was a number of councils prior that have worked on that area as being a commitment. And not to mention, tonight we also approved what will be the largest single investment in sidewalk improvements that we've ever made as a city. That will begin very quickly, I believe, right, Mr. Jablonski? And so there are going to be some exciting things happening in that ward that we're really, really looking forward to. So any other member wish to be heard? If not, Mr. Massey, you had one thing, did you, or did you not?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
All right. Then we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved. It's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Jablonski.
Mr. Coleman,
Aye.
Mr. Green, Ms. Hardison, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Wiles, Vice Mayor McBroom, Mayor Mulder.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.